This unnamed sports show is going down right here, and if you're not watching, you're not in the dog pound.
Yeah, I'm on my weird way, get it like Toby. You on my way, don't get cozy. Give me my trophy. Yeah, I had to pray, I had to kill off the old me. Yeah, had to focus a lot, I'ma shoot my shot, Kobe. Yeah, I'm on my weird way, get it like Toby. You on my way, don't get cozy. Give me my trophies. Yeah, I had to pray, I had to kill off the old me. Yeah, had to focus a lot, I'ma shoot my shot, Kobe. Yeah, killing my verses, living my purpose. Yeah, healing my burdens, giving my service. Yeah, I had to pray, I had to kill off the old me. Yeah, had to focus a lot, I'ma shoot my shot, Kobe.
Yo, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Unnamed Sports Show right here on Gorilla Cross Radio, streaming live on the Gorilla Cross app, GorillaCross.com, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. We are everywhere. Once again, I'm your host, Quan59. Got my man, Just in Time, Heineke in the building.
Yes,
what up?
Yes, it is Taylor Heineke time. He is having homecoming this weekend in Atlanta. He's from Atlanta.
Is he?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I
didn't know until literally.
I'm not sure if I cared.
Well, you know, it doesn't matter what you care about, Quan.
Basically.
It's about Heineke right now.
Okay.
So
wow.
That's the only reason it's about him is because that's all I got. I ain't got so it's got to be.
There we go.
So.
We have I won't say big show. I don't know. We're talking sports. We're here, so it's big, right?
That's right. Always big when we're in the booth. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Jackie.
You can't talk about Jackie and she's off screen.
No, she's like our statistician over there.
Okay. The Muffin Man. The Muffin Man can. This girl ate a muffin for 7.5 hours. Literally, she knows how to conserve. You give her something, she can make it save. She can save it.
So my assistant, I'm joking. She hates when I say assistant.
Don't call her the assistant.
Anyways, if you guys want to call in and chime in on the sports topics that we're going to be talking about today, please call in 702-608-3259. The number will be on the screen right now. You can see it below. Where'd it go?
There.
Right.
Almost.
It passed. Well, my name tag's in the way.
It's scrolling.
Anyways, it's scrolling. It will be back. 702-608-3259. If you're watching live, please comment. Let us know you're watching. That's how we know you're watching.
You're alive. It helps.
That too.
You know. You have another charger. This charger is the wonky one. I'm sorry. I have to do this on air.
Wow.
It's dying. I'm dying as we speak. You're gonna be looking at me with sad eyes. That's okay. I can feel the dead air. It's all right. We can nice. See, see how close we are. We're very close in the studio.
Yeah, a lot of people think we're 6 feet apart.
We're 6 feet.
Wait, is that still, or are we allowed to be only 3 feet now?
That's still.
I think it's like 3 feet or 4, 2 feet.
It's 2 feet now.
But we both identify as vaccinated, so
yes,
it doesn't matter. We're good. Okay.
1%.
We have you let it get that.
Well, no, it was at 5 when I started charging, but then I noticed that it was the weaker charger, so it started to decline quick.
There we go.
So, you know.
We have NBA, a little UFC to recap from this past weekend.
Sure.
And a lot of NFL picks. So we're going to, it's going to be an NFL heavy show and Major League Baseball. It's the playoffs.
Yes.
It's the playoffs.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Some crazy good games have been going on right now. So, I mean, I don't have any of them on any of these TVs, but a lot of good games have been happening. The tail end of the Major League season where people are trying to get in and trying to be a wild card and trying to win divisions. So it's been really good. Got that.
My team is not good at tanking. They don't understand the concept.
They've been winning?
They've won way too many games. Like, be exciting, that's great, but we need to suck so we can get like a blue chip pitcher.
Yeah. My mom says she's watching on YouTube.
Okay.
So she can watch it on the TV.
Hi.
So we're on the
lovely.
big screen in my mom's living room.
Hi, Rosalie.
So be on your best behavior because,
I'm always on my best behavior.
My grandma might be in front of that TV. My cousin might be in front of that TV. You never know who's in front of the TV.
You and the guests always try to pull the dark side out of me. I usually tend to be on the right side of history.
Stop.
It's the rest of you.
Stop it.
It's the rest of you that make things interesting.
Blaming the white people.
See, immediately. You immediately had to take it too far.
I actually showed Jackie how white I'm not earlier today, as far as family.
Oh, okay.
I showed how brown my family is.
All right.
My mom had posted up something about my great uncle.
Okay.
Who's was very, very brown.
Okay. All right.
For Hispanic Heritage Month. It is.
I know it's Hispanic Heritage Month. Was he Hispanic or was he just brown?
Yeah, that would be Hispanic.
I have to ask these questions.
That would be Hispanic.
No, Quan will post up a tan white person and be like, yes,
wow,
happy Hispanic Heritage Month. That is how you get down.
See all the racism we deal with?
No.
Jackie?
Not Jackie.
You don't have to be on camera. You're just in the background.
Oh, my God. Moving on. Let's see.
All right, great-great-uncle. He's my mom's great-uncle. He's my great-great-uncle.
Okay. Great. Okay.
Great-great. He was my mom's great.
Oh, wow.
So that was my grandma's uncle.
Oh, wow.
My mom's great-uncle, my great-great-uncle.
Wow, okay. All right. That's going back.
So that would be my niece's great-great-great-uncle. And then her son's great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-uncle.
Wait. Is he back in the 1800s then, probably? Like maybe tail end? No, not being disrespectful. Probably like tail end, somewhere in there.
No,
like
not 18.
Early 19.
He passed away, I'm not sure how long ago. Just a few years ago. He's in his late 90s.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, fair enough.
Yeah.
You want to start it off with UFC?
Yeah, let's talk about UFC 266. It actually, Jamal wanted to call in on Monday, but he didn't want to talk UFC. I mean, we were going to talk UFC with him also, but
sure.
He wanted to brag about his quarterback that's not even on his team anymore.
I understand,
but he's hyping him up. Listen, man, he looks good. They and we'll talk about that later. But Jamal, did you see his foot yesterday?
I did.
His toe almost ripped all the way off, and he has a fight December 14th.
I thought it was
December something.
Okay, beginning part of December.
Yeah,
which
is a good thing because his last fight we said he might not fight for a year because without his arm was not out of socket but broke all the way. So he's recovering from that. So we'll have him on soon before the fight for sure. But yeah, UFC 266, man, really good fights. Let's recap. How were our picks?
Okay, all right. You want to go over each of our picks? Let's see. So I was the only one to get Jessica Andrade.
She fought
Cynthia Cavillo. That I kept saying Cavillo.
He said Cavalio.
I hate you. But yeah, so won by TKO at the end of the first round.
She dominated her, and watching her dominate and seeing how she got dominated by Valentina in her last fight, shows how dominant Valentina is.
Just the level that Valentina's at.
So yeah, I got that. I wanted Cynthia to win, but I like Jessica a lot. She's a really good fighter. But seeing how good she looks and knowing that she can't compete with Valentina is insane.
So the second fight that we called the heavyweight fight between Curtis Blades and
Jairzinho
Rosenstrike.
Jairzinho Rosenstrike.
I can't get the first name. That one I was wrong. I can't remember. Did you pick Curtis Blades?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so we're both 1-1.
Okay.
That was a decision. That actually went the long. I mean, look, those heavyweight fights, you almost never think they go the distance.
The crowd thought it was a little boring, but they're both, they could knock you out with one hit.
Yeah.
So we got to be careful.
Yeah. Sometimes that's what happens when there's too much power in the ring.
And Curtis Blades had to be careful because his eye was shut.
Yeah.
So he had to, really play it safe.
Just get through the fight.
Yeah. But good fight. I liked it.
The next fight, the sadness that was Nick Diaz versus Robbie Lawler.
Not in fight shape at all. Obviously, we knew that going from 170 to 185 the week of.
Yeah.
We knew he wasn't going to be in fight shape.
I mean, this guy still picked the Diaz brother. He did not look like a Diaz brother.
No, I didn't.
I did.
Oh,
I said this guy.
This
guy.
And I would have beforehand if they wouldn't have switched and seeing all that. At the same time, being as slow as he still was knocking him pretty hard.
Sure.
It looked like one of those old dudes you just don't want to fight in a bar because he's still going to whoop you even though he's slower than he was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he fights ever again.
Grown man strength is what they call it.
He has to have the will to fight again. I'm not sure if he does. We'll see. But I think maybe he should have had a warm-up fight before he went in and fought, Lawler again. He looked very slow.
They should have thrown him a bone.
Yeah.
Like to start him back out.
And then saying that about Lawler, it took Lawler a long time to finally get him. He gave up.
Yeah.
Lawler didn't even really beat him. He was just done. He was like, I'm out of energy. He knocked me down. I don't feel like getting back up.
Yeah.
Oof. So it was weird. It was still entertaining. I didn't mind it. I think a lot of people gave it a lot more bad press than it had to have.
Sure.
I didn't mind the fight, but seeing him that slow, he's never been a speedy fighter anyway. So I think some people were overdoing how slow he was. He looks slow when he fights anyways, but this was extra. I mean, he wasn't in good shape, and I don't even think mentally he was in the right shape. And you know that with someone like him being done when he's not really done yet. He just knows he had nothing else to give.
I think that, a lot of the fury from people online has been because that he just looks so bad in like leading up to the fight.
Yeah.
Whether it's, hey, let's fight at a different weight 3-4 days before we're supposed to fight, to, the sad shadow boxing that we saw. And then actually what we ended up seeing, I actually thought the bad shadow boxing really was kind of a ploy to look bad and then get in the octagon and actually do something, but it ended up being the truth.
I thought that too, even with the weight change. I'm like, they might have talked and they were both like out of shape, but then when you saw Lawler, it's like, no, he was ready for 170.
He was ready.
He was ready for 170.
Yeah.
They looked way different, but I thought that was just head games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The Diaz brothers are known to play those.
Sure.
But a little extreme.
Next up, we've got Valentina the Bullet Shevchenko versus Lauren Murphy. 4th round TKO, end of round 4. Valentina just does what Valentina does.
Yeah, so with Valentina, like I said, there's nobody to fight her anymore.
64% total strikes. Lauren was 19%. Lauren had 19
scared to
strikes.
death, which she should have been.
Yeah.
She was very timid, doing all these like little shake moves
feints,
instead of actually
all
attacking.
Feints,
And I didn't like how she fought at all. Her corner was horrible.
Yeah.
They didn't give her any good advice going in between rounds, saying she's doing good. No, she wasn't at all. Valentina didn't look scared of her one bit.
Valentina landed 98 significant strikes.
I'm shocked that it went to 3 rounds.
4.
Oh, it did go 4.
Almost 5, because it was 4 minutes in the 4th round. So,
and I thought Valentina would get, but I think she was playing it safe because she is a good fighter. So you play it safe, but
you keep yourself safe.
I think she wore her out mentally in that fight. And at the same time, maybe Valentina's like, you know what, I'm sick of beating people too early. But I just don't think there's anybody for her to fight. They're gonna have to do her and Amanda part 3, and that's it. That's the only fight to make.
We talked about it. We talked about it last week. That's the fight to make, but at the same time, she beats Valentina. and then where like Valentina kind of goes back to her division and doing what she was already doing. So it's almost as if like you might want to just let them just keep running rickshaw over their own division.
But it's going to be where now it's Valentina versus somebody part 2 when she just beat her in the first round a couple years ago. You know what I'm saying? So you're running
true.
out of people to even fight.
It's true.
Because now you're going to have to start fighting out of the top 5 and top 10
to
get a different opponent.
A new opponent,
you know? And that's why I think the 145 division is in trouble, because it's like there's not even enough fighters in
there's not a whole
135,
lot.
the 115, the 125. There's not enough fighters, so I think one of these divisions has to go, and it's going to be the 145. It's hard. I mean, you know, does somebody else move up? Wade Lee does Rose, to fight Valentina?
I don't know if Rose can.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, so all the good fighters you have, and that's the only division that's even competitive right now, right?
Yeah, that one
that's
is
the only
that one
competitive
is
division.
Yeah, that one is competitive. That's the strawweight.
Yeah. And no one else is competitive. And so it's going to have to be one of them stepping up to 125 to even deal with Valentina, or Amanda going down, or Valentina going up to 135. I
honestly would like to. I'd rather see strawweights come up.
Yeah.
Than to see Amanda and Val, because they're both
eat
champions.
A little more food, ladies.
Yeah. Moving on. The main event of 266 was Alexander Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega. Five round. It went the full distance.
I've never seen anybody come from a chokehold like that ever. He looked dead. His head was purple.
It was.
The cut on his head started spewing the blood out. Like, it looked like a horror movie. And he did not tap out. That was insane. I've seen some people that you expect to tap out, not tap out. But that was ridiculous. Not even for him not tap out. We've seen people not tap out because they were out.
Yeah.
They couldn't tap out.
True.
But for Volkanovski to do that, listen, this dude is legit. He's at the top for a reason, and I think he's going to stay there for a minute. Ortega, by the time he did that, was just drained. And then he had another one where he almost choked him out again in the same round, and he got out. And
that's true.
It was wild. But that was, I mean, for me, that's definitely fight of the year, I think. But I might put that in top 10 of all time.
Wow.
That fight was amazing.
Wow.
To see someone come back from the dead, and to see Ortega almost dead and still last.
Still keep fighting. Yeah, no, it was a good fight. I mean, I feel like the decision went the right way. When you look at total strikes, you look at significant strikes. The only thing were the takedowns. Ortega went 2 for 5 in takedowns, and he had the 3 submission attempts. The fight was still won by Volkanovski. But Ortega had his opportunities to win the fight and win the belt.
Yeah.
So, look, that's all that you can ask for in a championship fight.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And for it to go 5 rounds and be a good 5 rounds. Sometimes these UFC fights that go the full 5, it's, man, they're sleepwalking for 4 minutes and, different things. It was an exciting fight for sure. All right, moving on. We've now got...
Let's talk about John Jones real quick.
Oh, yeah.
And shout out to Goose. He just chimed in right when I start talking about John Jones, because, he was babysitting him a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. CCDC.
Oh. What up, Goose?
So John Jones, we found out why he was arrested over the weekend.
Yes.
We found out the reasoning is because
I feel a little bit better.
You feel better that he whooped his fiance and mother of 3 kids.
Whooped her?
I mean, she was bleeding out of the mouth and the nose. So.
No, that I didn't hear. Okay, all right. The last thing I heard on it was that he pulled a female's hair. I didn't know that it was his fiance.
Yeah, so that female was his fiance and mother of his 3 kids. And not only did he pull her hair, but she was bleeding out of the mouth and nose. And then when Metro tried to get him, he didn't want to be cuffed, and he headbutted the car and damaged the car. Yeah. So you got in a fight with a police car, which I think they're actually gonna make that in. I think UFC 268. That's gonna be the headliner, John Jones versus the car.
I knew you were gonna do that.
But I mean, what's he doing? And does Dana White keep letting him?
Yes, of course
he does.
Dana,
and he shouldn't.
Well,
because
look,
you've cut people for way less, way less. But it's still John Jones that's going to sell.
it's John Jones. So you don't cut him.
If
I did find it.
If John Jones OJ'd somebody,
oh no, you cut him immediately.
he wouldn't.
No, that's different.
OJ was innocent.
True, but that's anyway. I found it interesting that Dana
OJ cut him. Dana wouldn't cut him.
That Dana said what he said, and he was saying that we can't even bring John to Vegas for 24 hours. Like,
wow.
Because remember, John was only in town because his fight
Hall of
with
Fame.
Gustafson became a Hall of Fame fight. And so he was being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He was literally here for less than 16 hours, and this happened.
It's insane.
So
At Caesar's Palace. So,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, he can't handle alcohol and
well, that's what he said. He
and
said
Coke.
he said he swore off alcohol because these things
Yeah.
can happen. I did not know that it was his wife.
Fiance,
or fiance. I thought that it was. I mean, listen, it shouldn't happen to any woman, but I at least thought it was some random girl. I didn't know kind of the background around it. It's not good either way. You shouldn't. We talk about it all the time on the show. You take your hands off.
And now does the NAC have a voice in this to where it's like we don't want him fighting in Nevada anymore?
No, it's too much money. It's like that's the thing, Quan.
And Goose said the way Dana's talking seems like he's sick of him. He's talked bad about that before. Dana's sick of him as the human. He's not sick of him as the fighter and the money maker.
As the money. And when it comes down to it,
and it almost makes it more interesting when you sit back as a business and be like, well,
of course,
listen,
he's
in the news. That puts UFC in the news, even if it's bad. We've learned that. Like
all press is good press.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when it comes down to it, just think of Tyson. You know what I mean? When you think of Tyson and what, and basically at the middle part of his career, it was really all about, what was he going to do?
Yeah.
What was the next thing? What was the next crazy thing that Mike was going to do?
Yep.
And that's how they sold things. And so, look, it's unfortunate. But when it comes down to it, he's still probably the greatest UFC fighter of all time, especially if he's able to get this heavyweight shot and he does something with it.
Yeah.
It's undeniable, and you just have to keep using him because
now I'm at the point where I don't know if he does anything with. I'm not sure if he's right mentally to even win a heavyweight fight.
He's fine.
I don't think he is.
He's just an alcoholic.
I don't think he is. The last
problems,
which is not fine. So I think the last two fights he had, they were close to losses anyways in the lightweight division. So now you're moving up to heavyweight.
True.
And you're going to be taking
different
heavier punches and stuff like that. So
shots.
You're fighting, if you're going to fight Gon, if you're fighting, Stipe.
Yeah.
It could be a different story. And if you're not prepared for that, which I'm not going to say he's ducking because he came out looking, really good and built and ready for heavyweight. But this is just another setback in the John Jones saga.
Yeah.
And can we call him I'm not sure if he's the greatest of all time. I mean, he's definitely up there.
He's definitely top 5.
He's definitely top 5. I mean, I
really even
put
top
GSP
3
up there.
Yeah.
Put Habib up there.
Yeah.
You could start talking about Usman right now.
Yeah.
Putting him up there.
Yeah. I mean, look,
it's a sad story. I don't want to see him keep doing this over and over and over and over and over. And it seems like a grown man is going backwards in the growing up stage of life.
And to that point, did you hear about what Cormier said? So Cormier was saying he feels terribly because he feels like it's actually his fault that John Jones is the way he is. And then he broke it down and was saying that, he didn't beat John. Chael Sonnen didn't beat John. And so when it came down to it, John was basically rewarded with his behavior because he never lost.
Wow.
So it was like, had he have lost and then somebody could say, look at yourself, look at these things that you've done, you'd be faced to actually face yourself.
Yeah.
Whereas he never had those losses. So it was like, think about it this way, like Conor McGregor, like when he wasn't losing, he was able to say all these things and do all these things because I'm Mystic Mac, I'm right. When he started losing, the facade started to crumble underneath his feet, and then that's how we ended up where we are right now.
Yeah.
And John, that's never happened. And so that I think it was really interesting. So to your point, yeah. I mean, he never lost. He never took anything.
Yeah.
So.
All right, man. We'll see where that goes. But, man, yeah, a lot happening in the UFC. So we'll be talking more about that, in the next coming weeks.
All right, on to football. So let's start it off with the Browns and the Bills. Are they back to being contenders, or did they just beat bad teams? One being the Bills beating my team.
Bills beat your team, which is...
They beat the brakes off my team.
Which is a good defense, not a good team yet.
Not even a good defense. That's the thing that's frustrating.
They got good defensive players. I don't think they've been playing great yet.
Yeah.
They haven't been playing up to their potential at all as far as defense.
No.
Bills are legit. I'm not worried about the Bills, even when they take a loss. I'm not really worried about them this year because they do have a complete team. That's one of the handful of teams that has a complete team. That same thing with we'll talk about this in a little bit with the Bucs losing.
Yeah,
they're still a contending Super Bowl team. So you still have those teams that are up there. Browns,
they beat the brakes off the Bears. They beat them 26-6 at home.
But what are the Bears?
Well, the Bears are at least a good defensive team. The Bears have been looking good on defense.
Same thing with your team. Do they play up to their potential week in and week out?
That's what I've always said about the Bears since Khalil Mack has gotten
there. But then it's also hard when you have a great defense and great defensive players. If your offense is just whack, it's frustrating sitting down and being like, oh, we got to get back up.
We got to get up again.
All the time.
3 and out.
And
turnover.
When that happens, you're not going to be a great defense because you're out on the field too much, and I feel like that's
you start to get exposed.
Yeah, that's kind of the Bears' problem. But I think the Bears are a horrible team. But the Browns, I don't trust the Browns, and I want them to be good and great, but
I think they're going to be fine. They took. I mean, we still don't know what the Chiefs are right now. We still feel like the Chiefs are going to be the Chiefs, but they took the Chiefs all the way to the fourth quarter in that game. So that's their only loss. I mean, they're beating the teams that they're meant to beat, and they're beating them resoundingly. So,
the teams you're going to have to beat to get on top are the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Now looking at the Chiefs after week 3,
we got that coming.
Yeah, but looking at them after that, the Chiefs aren't, so the Browns beating them,
we're losing to them.
They beat the Chiefs. Exactly.
Yeah, losing to them.
But did they lose to the Chiefs?
Yeah.
And they were up in that game. So
yes,
they should have won that game.
And they had a shot.
And so for the Browns, you're beating these bad teams you should beat, but you're not beating the good teams that you need to beat to put yourself over the top in the conference and to move on to a Super Bowl and be a contender in the NFL right now.
I think that I think taking the step in the NFL, or definitely in any sport, but extremely in the NFL, is beating the teams you're meant to beat.
Yeah.
The reason my team is always trash, or has been trash for the last 20 plus years, is we always would play down to competition. And teams that can at least take care of those sorry teams, you can stockpile 8 wins a season. You can get to 8 wins without any problems. And 8 wins at least puts you in position for the playoffs. So to beat those teams, I mean, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
You have to eventually take the step. Like when we get to the playoffs, we got to beat somebody and actually feel it. So then we have the confidence.
But not even getting to the playoffs. You need to beat those teams in the regular season to give yourself that confidence that we can beat them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now, if let's say Kansas City has a down year, right?
Yeah.
Still make the playoffs. Let's say they play the Browns in the first or second round, but we lost to a team. We didn't get that confidence to beat them. Now they got the upper hand in this playoff matchup.
Yeah.
So those are the games the Browns need to take care of in the regular season to see who they really are. And going to the comments real quick, everybody is already saying fire Nagy. Do you need to fire Nagy?
I don't put it on Nagy yet. You know what I mean? Like, see, in the same people. Well, look, I'll put it to you this way. In Kareem, it's funny to bring up Kareem. Kareem actually mentioned this a few days ago, and he was saying basically everybody was saying put in Justin Fields, and Nagy the whole time has been basically giving you guys flashcards and tea leaves and like, hey, he's not ready.
Letting you know he's not ready.
He's not ready. And he was forced into service and hasn't looked ready. And now it's fire Nagy, and that's not on Nagy. It's basically they have to continue to manufacture wins and get their points how they get them, take care of their defense as you talked about, and be better. You know what I mean? And look, they lost to the Browns. It wasn't like they lost to like that's the thing. Like when you're losing to good teams and you're not a good team yet, you're a team that's rising. They picked 10 for a reason. You know what I mean? Pick 10, 11 for a reason. They weren't a good team. It's not fair.
Who is their week 1 matchup?
Hold on, I'll pull it up.
I mean, so they've played good teams so far.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Let's see.
So I think going to fire the coach this early is a little because they're starting quarterbacks out. They have a rookie quarterback, so give him time to at least set something up. But the offense just didn't look right, so he didn't even look like he was playing.
The Bears lost to the Rams in LA week 1. They beat the Bengals. Now they almost tried to give that one away, but that was where Andy Dalton went down. Yeah. And they lose to the Browns. Those are 2 good losses. Those aren't losses that you were meant to win.
That's not what I'm saying. Who they beat?
They beat the Bengals.
They beat the Bengals.
Okay. They beat the Bengals.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm saying? And they almost gave that one away because Burrow was starting to pull it together at the end.
So they're not a good team.
Yeah. So firing somebody it doesn't do anything. That helps your rookie quarterback. You know what I mean?
I mean, who knows? It might.
True.
Might. How long has Nagy been there?
Not long, like a couple years.
At least 3, right?
Yeah, I'd say 3.
Been there at least 3, 4 years.
3. Yeah. What have they had on offense? Not a whole lot. The cupboard has been bare.
So I mean, we could say that maybe
Fire
it looks like it doesn't look like they have much on offense because the coach doesn't know what he's doing.
They haven't had a quarterback either.
I mean, have they not?
You know what I mean?
Have they not?
Have
they not used the quarterback right?
It
was Trubisky that bad, or is it the coach?
Well, Trubisky's a backup now, so that
where's he at?
He's in Buffalo.
Yeah,
kind of gives you an idea. Next up, is it time to take the Chargers serious?
That division's crazy right now because the worst in that division is the best in that division, basically.
Yeah.
So the best team is 1-2.
Chargers are 2-1 now. My week 1 loss to them does not look as tragic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're a good team. I mean, their young second-year quarterback looks, great. And he looks like he's going to be, one of the best quarterbacks in the league for a while. So, I mean, that whole division is crazy. So the Chargers, you have to say they're legit. Yeah. I mean,
Chargers are 2-1 now. You mentioned the Raiders
and
now are 3-0.
Even saying 2-1, like that one loss was a very close loss.
Yeah, no, they lost
to
a field goal.
Great team, a very good Cowboys team.
Great, we're going.
I think the Cowboys are, to be honest.
Yeah, you didn't see my post. I really, really need the Cowboys to take a dive.
I think the Cowboys have a chance this year. I'm not saying there's so many teams that have a chance to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I think there's legit 5 or 6 teams that have a chance to really win the Super Bowl this year.
In the NFC, the thing is, I'll say this: the NFC is far more wide open.
Yeah.
With so many more variables.
The AFC is now too, because with the Chiefs playing how they're playing, now we don't know what the AFC is, even though we all expect.
Exactly, but do you see the expectation?
Yeah.
You see the difference? The expectation is they'll be fine, they'll get it right, until we the Chiefs going to have a bad year
Chiefs
this year.
could be 1-5, and I'm still going to think they're going to win the division.
Wow.
Maybe not the division, but it's still to the point where it's I'm not worried about them yet.
Yeah.
There's still that.
They could rattle off 10 wins in an eye blink and be like, wow, they won 10 in a row?
They can go 12-5 if they're 1-5, and that's kind of how I feel about the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So I'm not super worried about them, but being in a division now that, listen, we don't suck.
Yeah.
So you can't play around like you kind of did last year with some of your games.
Sure.
You can't do that anymore because, like you said, Las Vegas is 3-0. Denver and LA
2-1. Yeah.
So you can't play around. You have good teams in that division, and you got to face all of them. So Denver is going to lose the division, though.
Yeah. I mean,
they're the team that's going to. They're a little overhyped.
Yeah, they're the weakest team.
Yeah.
I mean, until that weather shifts. That weather starts shifting. You never know. It's not an easy game to go up in there and try to win. Let's see. Next up, don't look now.
And real quick, Goose said Chargers are solid on both sides, not gangbusters, but solid enough to sustain itself and possibly make noise.
There it is.
So that's one of those teams. If you give them too much confidence going into the playoffs, they can upset a team not knowing we're not supposed to win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. They're
young enough also to be like, what?
We're just happy to be here.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't know we weren't supposed to play this hard.
Exactly.
Oh, we weren't supposed to win? What?
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to throw 450 yards.
This isn't normal. This
What?
isn't normal. You don't like to do that?
Oh, you want me to break playoff records?
All right. So is it time to take the Chargers serious? Moving on to the Chargers, is it time to start taking them serious now with their win versus the Chiefs and everything else?
I thought that's what we started.
That is, we already talked about. My fault.
We were just talking.
We were already talking about it.
Rewind.
But now
at least we won't change our answers on
see,
that.
I was ready. But don't look now. The Rams are now 3-0 and the number one team in the power rankings. Are the Rams for real? This is your division, so you can speak on them a little bit more.
Yeah, I think
artistically than I
think we all can. And I mean, they had a huge win, this weekend. They're definitely for real, and that's a team that they have a different quarterback now, which I think we all think is a better quarterback, but we think he is, but we don't want to jump on the hype train that so many other people have jumped on.
Sure.
Because he's won one playoff game in his whole life. So we don't know what's going to happen, but so far he looks like the quarterback they traded for and the hype they wanted, with him. And like we said, Jamal Hill from UFC was going to call in and talk about that this week, but we couldn't match up the schedules. But listen, man, he looks really good in that system for sure.
Sure.
So you have somebody that's more confident in playing quarterback and being the man, and you're in a system with players. If you're already that good and now you have all these people to throw to, and not just the people to throw to, Detroit's problem was always that line on defense, and that offensive line has never been good.
Yeah.
Ask Barry Sanders.
I was about to say Barry Sanders used to run for his life.
They've never had a good offensive line, and if they would have,
shoot,
you probably would have had two Hall of Fame players that might have played a couple more years.
Yeah.
For you, you know what I'm saying? It's sad when two of the best offensive players of all time quit early because we suck so bad, and I don't want to not be protecting anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And Sims before Barry Sanders. Sims retired early too. Like they've just kind of had a history of early exits.
So the Rams, I mean, Doc, they're legit.
Well,
they're legit.
I'll say that the win definitely solidified them. Their first two wins before that were the Bears and then also they took care of let's see, who was it? Oh no, I lost it.
And
Colts,
Mark, call
Colts.
in if you can, because we did talk about the Bears, but I would like a Bears perspective on how bad you are, and let us know. Fire Nagy or don't fire Nagy. Is it Nagy's fault, quarterback's fault? If you want to call in, 702-608-3259. I would love to hear what you have to say as a diehard Chicago fan, Mark. But we did talk about them, but we can talk about them again if you want to call it.
Man, but yeah, that's I don't know. I'm still the win versus the Bucks. That one is solid. That's the Super Bowl champs.
It's a huge win.
You did it at home, so that you can kind of take a little bit of grain of salt with that, just because it was at home, and that's a long travel for Tampa. But it is a solid win. You win who's on your schedule. They beat the Colts and they beat the Bears. We still don't really know who the Colts are. We think they're not a very good team, but they were a playoff team last year, so still kind of holding our breath there. Next up, the Cards continue winning. They had a huge win this past weekend. Another team from your division.
And who'd they beat again?
Let's see. The Cards took out, let's see. They took out the Jags, 31-19.
Okay, yeah, they dominated them.
Yeah.
Which they should. That's another thing.
Another thing we talked about. Beat the teams that you're supposed to.
I've already said, our division is really good. I think Seattle is the loser in this division, and we're going to see just how bad they are this Sunday against the 49ers.
Yeah.
But everyone's good. Everyone has a chance to make the playoffs. Kyler Murray is getting better.
I mean, he only had 6 incompletions.
Yeah,
he did throw one to the other team, but
he's looking really good.
300 plus yards, and then
you have one of the best wide receivers in the league.
Yep.
They have a really good team, man. I like them. Still like. I would take the Rams and 49ers over them. It's not a team that scares me yet.
Okay.
Rams are a scarier team if I have to play them, to me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they have all pro pieces.
We kind of own them a lot. But yeah, Arizona doesn't scare me that much.
All right, and the Saints, are they just going to be Jekyll and Hyde all season? Because
I think because they have a Jekyll and Hyde quarterback.
Yeah, it's true.
And I think with a quarterback like that, and the coach, is that the right system for Jameis with Sean Payton? I'm not sure. I'm not,
Yeah, I mean, and look, it's still his first year in that system. Second year.
So he had a whole year to learn behind a Hall of Famer.
Then
that was in and out of the lineup.
He should be better.
But Jameis is who Jameis is, I think. We want him to be better. We want him to not throw. It's not just interceptions. We see Tom Brady throw interceptions. We've seen Aaron Rodgers. There's just some quarterbacks, when they throw it, okay, he's great. If he throws one, cool. When you see some of these quarterbacks that throw the same stupid interceptions that they threw their rookie year and their second year and their third year, and they haven't grown up yet to know, like, okay, that's not a good time to try to throw the ball away. Yeah. We saw Jimmy G try to throw the ball away, and I don't know what that was.
The T-Rex arm?
Yeah, it was just very weird. Just those fumbles and interceptions are just not.
Those are killers.
Yeah, and they're not forgivable.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Jameis does. And that's why people get on him so much, because his are just not. I'll call in again. My bad. I didn't see it. His are not forgivable.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem. You had a 30-for-30 season the last time you were a starter.
Yes.
So now dealing with that again, and now you're starting to show signs of you being that quarterback and throwing those same type of interceptions is a little bit, makes me skeptical of them. So I think it will be Jekyll and Hyde. But real quick, we do have a phone call. Mark, you are live on the air. What's good, man? Haven't talked to you in a while.
What's good, fam? What's good, Josh? How y'all been?
Good. How you doing, Mark? How's everything, brother?
Oh, everything's everything. Everything's everything. Except for how bad my Bears are.
Come on, man. They're not that bad, bro. They're not that bad.
Do Bears fans overreact, Josh?
Look, well, okay.
Or do they have the reason to overreact?
They're in a very similar situation to my team, and that is we always don't get the quarterback.
But the one advantage is Chicago has a name for their team.
Well, they have a great name. Their name is they're the Bears.
Yeah,
you can't look.
Listen,
you don't mess with the Bears.
There's going to be some Bears that get offended, and they might have to change their name in 20 years. We don't know.
If the Grizzly Bears come for them, I mean, you listen to Grizzly Bears.
But Mark, what's on your mind?
Well, here's the thing. And I hear what Josh is saying regarding the fact that the quarterback situation. But here's my counter to that. Is it really the quarterback situation, or is it the coach who's calling plays?
And I mentioned that when we were talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, because sometimes they do call the stuff that's too cute. It's too cute. Like, why? Yeah, I hear you.
That's the thing, because again, as a coach, you have to take your talent and build a system around it versus saying, this is my system, and we're going to run it no matter what.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, like, he's running out of people to point the fingers at.
Yeah, okay,
He brought in Mitch Trubisky. Oh, it's Mitch's fault. Well, let me go get Chase Daniels as my backup. At least he can run it. Okay, Chase is gone. Then I'm gonna go get the MVP from Philadelphia. I'm gonna go get Nick Foles. Couldn't wait to take out Trubisky.
Yeah.
Put Nick Foles in, and then they go on a 6-game losing streak. You have to go back to Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, the play calls were taken from you, so you pass them off to Bill Lazor, and all of a sudden they go on a win streak because they finally get balanced.
Yeah.
But at the same time, going back to Nick Foles, that's been Nick Foles' entire career, wherever he's been. So,
absolutely. Yeah. And I'm not saying that Mitch Trubisky or Nick Foles don't have some play in it, but what I am saying, if you look at the scoring average since Matt Nagy has, since the beginning of 2018 when he came in, and no one knows. Heck, once the league has tape on you and they figure you out, you have to counterpunch. You have to evolve, and he hasn't changed his scheme or what he likes to do since 2018.
Yeah,
and that's just the fact of the matter. The scoring average of the Bears since week 12 of 2018 has gone down close to like 12.5 points per game.
Yeah.
And what happened with Justin Fields is malpractice. You have 5. You keep your 5 offensive linemen in. You don't bring any tight end. You don't bring any. You have 5 tight ends on the roster, fellas. They have 5 tight ends on the roster. You don't bring any of them in to do any blocking. And you have Jason Peters, who you had to call off a boat. He was fishing. He was about retired. It's like putting me out at left tackle. And you want to have him at Myles Garrett? Come on, man. Like it's malpractice. And now on top of it, you went into this week after what happened and saying it's all on you, to now going back and saying, well, all 3 quarterbacks are in play. So you're now basically kind of throwing your rookie quarterback that you were clamoring about underneath the bus.
No, listen, and I'm 100% with you on that, because when it's funny how you mentioned, basically trying to make a round peg square. And that was the same situation that I've had in the past with RG3, Jay Gruden coming in. He's supposed to come in to fix RG3. And 3 weeks into the season, oh yeah, I don't know about this guy. And it's the damaging stuff that you put out there in the media that then ends up ruining and cancering your locker room. And that's the stuff that ends up breaking
sometimes
players.
the career for that player.
It can break careers. And it's like, I wish that they would stop doing that. RG3 actually came on Adam Schefter's podcast last week. And it was so insightful, because they really they went into everything. And it's like, there's so much stuff that's behind the scenes that you don't understand, that it can, that right quarterback coach combo, it's so important. So I'm with you 100%.
And here's the last thing, guys, and I appreciate you giving me some of this venting out. I definitely appreciate it. But here's another thing, and I'll leave you guys with this. I think here's the problem. Matt Nagy is a guy that people like. Right, he's a good guy. He's not a crazy coach. He doesn't say off the wall things, right?
Sure.
But if you really look at him and look at even going back to when he was offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, I think he was a guy who got over promoted. And here's why I say that. Or at least he got promoted based off proximity to Andy Reid. Because if and I say that in all seriousness, because if you look in 2017, when he was the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs, Andy Reid called plays all up until a little over the halfway mark.
Yeah.
But they were in their points per game at that point were going down. And you know what was happening? They had this. You remember when Kareem Hunt set the world on fire?
Yes.
They went away from running the ball toward the second half of the season. And the only correlation, or only causation that I can look back is the fact that Matt Nagy was calling the plays. And they lost in the playoffs. If you remember that game, they lost. I want to say they lost to the Titans, if memory serves me correct. And Kareem Hunt, who led the league in rushing yards that year, only touched the ball like 8 or 9 times that game. Fast forward to 2021, and you see what they just did with David Montgomery. Not that I'm comparing to David Montgomery to Kareem Hunt, but it's funny how he had over 1,000 yards once you start giving the ball 17, 18 times a game.
Yeah.
I think Matt Nagy's biggest problem is the fact that he wants to put he is in ego prison. And he's going to win his way or no way at all. And that's a disservice to every person in that locker room.
Yeah.
So Mark, is it time to fire Matt Nagy?
Here's the problem with that. Is it time? Yes. But the Bears historically have never fired a person, never fired a coach during the season. So
it's time to change history.
It's not going to happen. Well, absolutely. But here's the thing: who are you trusting to make that next coaching decision? Because if he goes, Ryan Pace, the general manager, has to go. I've been clamoring for them to fire both of those guys since last year.
Yeah.
You can't. They use a 6-game losing streak as a rallying point, saying this is why we should keep our jobs, because we overcame a 6-game losing streak. In what world does that happen?
Huh. Yeah.
It's just again, the Bears. I don't believe in karma and all that stuff, but some people say, hey, the Bears are always going to have great defense. They're always going to have middle linebackers galore, but they can never get the quarterback right. We're going on over 50 years since Sid Luckman. And we have a good.
Dang, you went back to. Dang. you just walked over my guy. You walked over my championship guy.
Jim McMahon was a nice quarterback. You're talking about best quarterback. He was never best quarterback in the league. Don't get me wrong. We're talking franchise quarterback. You got to go all the way back to Sid Luckman.
That's
the same for one of the charter teams of the NFL, fellas.
Hey, I'm gonna have to send you the super fans in Peyton. Did you ever see that one where they were talking about Luckman?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
They're like, we had Luckman, and then we had about a 10-minute period of Rex Grossman.
Grossman. About it. Oh man, McMahon was doing the Super Bowl shuffle for you guys.
I mean, the Bears fans, it's his
guy. But Quan, here's the thing though. When things got bad, like with that whole thing, you know what he went in time and played next? The Packers.
Yeah, sure did. Yep. All right, Mark. Thank you so much for the time, brother.
And stick with us, man. No call back in during our NBA segment because we're going to be talking about your Bulls.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We will be talking about the Bulls for sure.
All right, man. Appreciate the call.
For sure.
All right, Quan. Next up, is Kansas City in trouble?
No.
They've just move on. Just no.
They're going to be fine.
They got the Eagles this week.
No.
Give them the win. They have the Bills next week.
That's going to be a tough game.
So
it could be 2-3 or 2-3 after that Bills game, possibly. I mean,
then they have my team the week after that.
Yeah. So I mean, they'll be at least 3-3 after week 6.
Okay. All right. Okay. So moving on, what teams that are 0-3 are the most in trouble, and can any of them make the playoffs? The Lions, the Giants,
nope.
The Jags.
And I'm saying nope about playoffs. Nope.
Okay. The Colts or the Jets. Those are the 5.
Colts are the only team I think would have a chance
to
get to the playoffs.
Their division too.
And
their division helps. Their division helps a lot.
But other than that, there's none of those teams. I mean, I don't think any of those teams were, threats to make the playoffs anyways. But no, Jets are horrible. Colts are the only team that I thought would, have won a game after 3 weeks.
I don't think the Giants are horrible. The Giants fight, man. They
Danny
do.
Dimes, though. Danny Dimes, is he the right fit for them?
Shoot, I'll take him. If they drop him, I'll take him.
Really?
Yeah, I'll take him.
Okay.
I'll take him for sure.
And the U is down 9-0 right now, by the way.
No.
After a safety. Sorry.
You just been watching?
I mean, I saw the safety happen.
Come on.
It was actually really nice. Good defense by Virginia.
I don't want to hear that nonsense.
The U struggling this year, bro.
I don't want to hear that either.
I mean, it's just
moving on.
It's on the record. 2-2.
All right, moving on to tonight's game, and we can get off NFL. Tonight's game, Bengals at home versus the Jags. Bengals are 7.5 favorites. Do you see them covering? And are you excited about the quarterback matchup of Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence?
So when you first said the names, you're just like, what a horrible game. But then, oh, wait, it's,
Trevor Lawrence versus Joe Burrow.
Great college quarterbacks playing each other. Burrow looks like the one so far that, might be worth the pick.
Yeah, it's the two back-to-back number one picks. I just thought about it that way, too.
So he looks like the one that so far is, and Lawrence looks like the one that he's okay right now, but he looks like the one that might not have been the best pick, because there's other quarterbacks in the league right now, rookies that are playing a little bit better. So I'm definitely interested to watch that matchup. And I don't like being one of those people that judges a rookie quarterback off his first year. Like, give these guys time. We've seen that with Josh Allen. People threw him under the bus for the first 2 years. And now he just got paid because he's been balling, So give these young guys time. But I'm definitely interested to watch that game. 2 first, picks back to back. So
yeah, that's pretty cool. I think I didn't think about it till just now, but that actually is pretty cool. All right, that concludes NBA. Concludes NBA. Concludes NFL.
It's been a long week, folks.
Man, I need some food. No, it's the no food. I'm working on a tangerine.
Wow.
That's it.
That's it. Are you still on your Presbyterian diet?
Yeah. My Presbyterian. I hate you so much. I'm Seventh-day Adventist, folks. Moving moving on to the NBA. Quan, go ahead. You got 2 minutes to talk about your Lakers. I'll start the clock.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. That's it.
What do you want to talk about?
How do you
The
see
6
it?
Hall of Famers.
You got 2 minutes. I'm starting the clock.
I mean, listen, they're going to be good if they stay healthy, and that's keeping a team healthy. That is, couldn't see it. There you go.
Okay, you can see it. No, maybe
a little bit,
a little bit.
little
All
glare.
There you go.
Glare.
There's your time. You got your time, bro.
But I don't know what's there to talk about. It's the Lakers. They're going to win the championship.
Okay.
The finals preview is already happening on Sunday.
Wow.
Which is early. I'm surprised they were doing that in October 3rd
for the preseason.
First preseason game against Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie, I think it's in LA, so he'll be able to play, but he hasn't got the shot yet.
I still think that
I thought you give me 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So Lakers,
got a minute left.
They have a deep team. A lot of them are saying they're older, but they do have some young players too that are very good. And they're older players.
How many? One?
No, they got Malik Monk. They got a dude from Miami. They got Taylor Horton Tucker. That's about it. But that's all you need when you have, and they have veterans that aren't necessary. And I mean, Anthony Davis isn't 30 yet. He's still young. It's just the injuries.
His body is 30.
Listen, he looks in way better shape than he did last year. Like coming into training camp,
okay.
You could tell he worked this summer.
Okay.
And they had a long time off of, the championship year and going out in the first round this year. So they had a long summer to be able to get in shape. LeBron looked a lot slimmer. Russell Westbrook, he plays all the time. So you have these older veterans that are LeBron, Dwight Howard. These are guys that stay in shape all the time. So I'm not worried about the Laker veterans. They're going to be great. And yeah, Kendrick Nunn is the dude from Miami.
Thank you. There it is. Kendrick Nunn.
Listen, nobody's stopping the Lakers except the Lakers themselves.
8, 7.
If there is an injury, I got Lakers and Nets in the finals, no matter what Kyrie does, and Lakers in 6.
And all right, 2 minutes. That was the 2-minute Quan moment of Laker fandom.
And I only give him 1 minute on all of tennis.
Yeah, seriously.
For a year.
Exactly.
For a year.
Exactly. I want to talk about Rafa Nadal, and I get blocked off in 35 seconds or less. Anyway, I can talk about my team, but I'd rather not.
Why, man?
Come on. I mean,
Bradley Beal.
Yeah, it's fine.
Who else you got?
Well,
Kyle Kuzma. Listen, man, this dude Kuzma, I'm not sure if you've ever seen him play. One of never mind.
Listen.
He's good though. He'll be good for you guys.
Until Kyle Kuzma gets a stylist and stops dyeing his hair, I can't take him serious. I just can't.
He's good.
Because he's not Dennis Rodman. So why do you keep dyeing your hair all these different
You
colors?
got Kuzma.
We got
you got Dinwiddie.
Yeah, Spencer Dinwiddie is gonna help. It depends on how he recovers from the ACL. We also have who was the power forward that was on your team that couldn't figure it out?
From the Clippers.
Yeah,
I forgot his name.
Montrezl Harrell.
Montrezl Harrell.
That pickup is the one that I think is going to because that gives us an attitude.
He'll play good for them.
Yeah, I think so. And that we need attitude. Like,
he's a player I liked a lot. I don't think Frank Vogel used him right.
No, at all. And I mean, when he played him, he played well.
Yeah.
And then he would go away from him for 3 weeks, and it's like, what did he do?
I think the thing that happened when LeBron and AD were both out and hurt, like these guys didn't step up, and so that didn't give them any confidence in Harrell and in dude. I can't think of anything right now.
Both of us.
Dude from Detroit that's in Philly now.
Oh,
Andre Drummond.
Andre Drummond.
So
as soon as you say the city, it usually pulls it. Like, oh,
they didn't step up. But I think Washington will be more stable than they were last year, because last year they were bad at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Played really well in middle and the end to get into the playoffs.
Hachimura, I'm hoping, takes another step. He's actually away from the team right now, on personal leave. So
yeah,
kind of figuring that out. But I mean, look, I
did you watch any of their media day or anything?
No.
I'm a media day fan.
I don't really like.
I'm always hyped up for media day, and then when I turn it on, I'm like, this is kind of boring.
Yeah.
What'd you do this summer? Worked out.
That's it.
got the backs.
repeat. Like, so.
And Bradley Beal, unvaccinated.
Yeah. So he won't be playing in New York or playing in Golden State. No, wait, is it just
San Francisco?
Because San Francisco is
Just
not.
San Francisco.
It's not L.A. Not
Yeah.
L.A. Yeah. So
You do whatever else you want in San Francisco, but anyways.
That's interesting. That whole situation. Especially Andrew Wiggins. That's half of his money.
And Mark asked if Bill wanted out, would you be interested in a trade for Ben Simmons?
No.
Now, what if you could get Ben Simmons there with Bill?
Interested. Because that gives us now, as long as it's not giving up Trez, because Trez is giving attitude.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons plays defense. Bradley Beal sometimes play defense, but that definitely gives me now defense, and it gives you another person that's going to activate the play. He's a playmaker.
Yeah.
He's going to make things happen, and gives us some size, but also some rebounding. It gives toughness. So,
and that'd be a good look because they were talking on Let the Ball Bounce on Tuesday where a good spot for Ben Simmons would be, and no one mentioned Washington, but I think if they could keep Beal and do that.
But yeah, you can't keep Beal and then send him there. Like, who are we giving? Like,
Yeah.
there ain't nothing else. Like, at that point, you're stealing. So
It's draft picks and Kuzma and
take them all of them. You can
Yeah.
have them because he's still young. So it's like you're still developing a draft pick. That's the thing
Yeah.
that always frustrates me when you say, "Oh, we're trying to keep our draft picks." Well, he's 24, 23, 24. So it's like,
If he gets on the right team, listen, Ben Simmons is a very good player.
yeah,
I think the overhype of he's the next LeBron is messing him up.
was overhyped.
And then some, mistakes he's made by not shooting the ball.
Yeah,
But listen, if this is Ben Simmons and you know who he is now you know how to fit him on the team. He's never going to shoot the ball. Just deal with it, and move on. And you can, if you know who he is now and know he's probably not going to be the best player on your team, should be the third best player on your team.
yeah.
And that's why people have mentioned him in Golden State a lot. We don't need you to shoot, bro.
At all.
Pass us the rock and get to the hole
Sure.
and play defense. We don't need you to shoot.
Send
So that'd be a good look, too.
Andrew Wiggins and some picks.
St. Andrew, you can't play home games right now.
Yeah.
So
Shoot. Yeah.
Andrew, and they got some other young players they've drafted. Like they
Two or
had
three,
two
yeah.
high picks this year, and then James Wiseman last year.
Yeah. I keep Wiseman. You keep a big.
If he fits in their system, which I'm not positive if they like him there, but at the same time,
Yeah.
try to keep him. Give her to some of the young dudes you drafted this year with someone like Wiggins, and Philly's it's gonna get to the point where they're gonna have to just move on and do something about this if he's not gonna show up to training camp at all. Embiid has said that he's tried to talk to Ben Simmons and that they wanted him back, and Embiid even said we built this team around Ben, and he's disappointed that Ben's not showing up. But listen, no one defended Ben Simmons
During the
at
summer.
the end of the playoffs.
Yeah, everyone
and the
went-
whole summer.
Everyone
and
went mute.
And it was one of those things where we see this in relationships. Oh man, she ain't nothing. And then when she dumps you and moves on, wait, no, we could have made this work. It's like, wait, you were talking junk about this dude all summer,
Yolanda,
and
I
now all of a sudden
love
you want
you.
him back? Come on, man, stop that. We're getting some Ben going to Sacramento.
That's terrible.
Yeah, he
What, are you gonna give up
lost in
Fox?
sack. No, you can't give up. You can't give up De'Aaron Fox. I mean, Philly take that in an instant.
Yeah, I mean,
You could take.
Jeez, that
you could
actually-
take Steph's brother too if you're gonna give me De'Aaron Fox.
no.
Yes.
They don't want to give up Seth.
If I get De'Aaron Fox, I'll give up everybody
Nah.
except Embiid.
But you
De'Aaron
don't.
Fox, listen, give De'Aaron Fox another superstar like Embiid. Come on, man. He's
it's-
already blown up in Sacramento. He's just not known because it's Sacramento.
Because it's
but
Sacramento.
listen, man, if it was just straight up, first of all, Sacramento, you're dumb if you straight up that deal. But De'Aaron Fox, come on, man.
All right. Well, moving on. What do you think about who the championship contenders are for this year? Starting in the East, who actually can win a title?
Who can win a title? So you have to go with the Bucks again. They're still, defending champions.
Yeah.
And they didn't really lose. Well, they lost PJ Tucker, which I think is a big deal. Where did PJ Tucker go?
Oh, that was the reason why Giannis was saying he's the new swag king.
Miami.
Oh, that's right.
Miami.
He did go to Miami.
That's a big loss for them, but not an impossible
fill.
We can fill that somewhere else.
Yeah.
We can get another tough player that plays tough D.
I think Bobby Portis, honestly, with more minutes and now more confidence, can fill the role.
Yeah,
because he was killing, and there was a lot of stretches where he was the guy that they were actually putting in that position.
Yeah.
So I think you probably feel that by committee, especially if PJ ain't gonna hit threes.
And PJ wasn't even there the whole year, so it's not like it was crazy like that. But Portis is definitely, good to fill that.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, Milwaukee is right there. The Brooklyn Nets, we don't know what Kyrie's doing any day, I mean, he hasn't got the vaccination, so if he can't play, what's that going to do? Does he finally give in and get it? Does it get to the point where they want to trade him and he ends up retiring, and who knows? Who knows what's up with him? They got LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah. They got him back.
Yeah, does his heart stay intact?
Yeah, that's true.
That's a scary thing,
Yeah. I think that the Nets still with Kyrie, I think it really comes down to Kyrie and coaching. Those are their two bugaboos.
Give me James Harden and Kevin Durant healthy all year, and they're going to the finals. Give me Kyrie, now they could win the finals. But I think
that's
KD with either of them or both of them, but he just needs one of them to get there. He doesn't need both of them necessarily. Both of them they dominate on the way to there.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Okay. All right.
But KD can get there with one of them.
Especially now a year removed from the Achilles, like a year and a half removed, really. So, okay. All right. Anybody else?
So that's my two.
Anybody else in the East? Yeah, it does.
Listen,
it does get tight after that.
Miami with Jimmy Butler, and now they have rest also. They were out in the first round.
Sure.
They were in the finals the year before. We saw that effect of being in the finals in October.
Turning right back around.
The NBA Finals would be starting today, I think, last year.
No, I feel like it was even later.
It ended in the middle of it ended like October 15th.
Yeah.
And the season began December 22nd. So there was no rest. And so we saw how tired they were. Now you just added one of the best point guards in the league.
Yeah.
They're going to be dangerous. Miami's going to be back. They have championship experience as far as getting to the finals.
Their fans, and there's something.
Miami's going to be right up there. That's a team nobody's going to want to see.
Well, and there's something, too, to be said about fans that now also expect greatness. You know what I mean? Like the Bucks, they had been not a bad team, but a good team that just couldn't win. They hadn't won in 50 years. You know what I'm saying? And now they've won. So now their fans understand winning and understand that their players can get it done. Miami has had that for the last 20 years, almost, really, since 2006. So yes, they're always going to be a factor. Miami is always going to be a factor just because of the location, and they can get people there. They're definitely going to be there.
Yeah, so that's my top three in the East, I think.
I don't know if
Philly's, anybody I'm missing?
I don't know if Philly's still there.
Philly with them not having a second star. I mean, obviously that could change if they can make a trade and get higher value than what we're thinking they can get now with Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
They messed up not trading Ben Simmons before.
Yeah, because now you're getting a bag of chips. And you're really dealing.
And there was an option that was talked about last year when James Harden was like, I don't want to play in Houston anymore, for that trade to happen.
And that was a bad move.
And it should have been done. It should have been done.
That move.
If they were both agreed upon and Philly backed out, that was a horrible move, and they're not going to get the value they think they have for Ben Simmons. So I think it's one of those things they have to get a lot of good players. You might not get a superstar or an all-star, but get like one of those,
like a lot of second tier guys,
a teetering all-star and some really good role players to fit around Embiid.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine if that trade actually would have happened and how that could have unlocked Embiid? Yeah. Because James Harden with bigs, he's made a lot of bigs money. Clint Capella, he's made people super rich because of how he plays.
But he also made all-star bigs disappear like Dwight Howard.
That's true.
It was supposed to be him and Dwight competing for a championship, and they didn't play well together. I mean, you put a lot of that on Dwight.
Yeah, I think in some ways that, too, was because, remember, at that point, James was still ascending, and Dwight was a guy, And so it was like, oh, yeah, well, James is ascending. And so now he's got Dwight. And it was kind of one of those things. I think some of that might have been just like passing ships in terms of star power.
Yeah.
But, all right, let's see. Next up. What just happened? All right, here we go. So that's who you have winning possibly out of the East. Also, you got to consider Atlanta, too. Atlanta's definitely still potentially a viable option.
And Mark put tier 2 in the East: Atlanta, Celtics, Philly, Chicago, New York, and Charlotte. I kind of agree with him.
Chicago. Well, are we gonna get to Chicago?
We'll talk about that soon.
Yeah, Chicago's the next. We're gonna talk about that in the next segment. I mean, Atlanta's definitely still there, just off of what they did last year.
You have to give them that respect at least. You know.
Moving over to the West, man, it's
the West got a little weaker and a little stronger at the same time. So the reason I'm going to say that is the Clippers are not a top 3 that can win the championship anymore, right? Like that fading pretty quick.
Well,
that faded pretty quick.
It faded because of major injury.
It already faded last year before that injury happened. People were already like, maybe they're not this great team that we were trying to crown them already. And then when you lose Kawhi, who will miss the entire season, I don't care what people say about him coming back sometime this season. Our history watching Kawhi Leonard with injuries is he's not coming back until he's 125% healthy. He's not coming back. They just paid him too. So guess what he's not going to do? Come back. He got paid. He has no reason to come back.
Yeah.
He's going to sit out this whole entire season, I think, unless he's fully healthy and they have a high seed and get into the playoffs. But I just think he misses the whole year. I really do. So with that being said, they're out of the way. Even if he comes back with 20 games left in the season, goes to the playoffs, it's not going to be the same. Yeah. So they're out of the picture. And the team I'm putting up there is Golden State. If Clay comes, so there's the if factor with Golden State.
Is Clay back?
They're saying probably January.
Dang.
And I thought he'd be back a little bit sooner, but at the same time, if Golden State can do what they did at the end of last year and just keep, going through Steph and kind of dominating through Steph and winning all the games you need to win and winning some of these other games, then
again beating the bad teams.
Then you could be, 3 or 4 by the time you get Clay back.
I think if they can hold 6 seed and then Clay comes back, they could go from 6 to 3.
Yeah.
6 to 3 or 4, depending on how tight the West is. And that's you don't want to play him. You don't want to play him going into the playoffs.
And if he's back the same, which he's not a super explosive player, so same thing when KD got hurt.
Yeah.
We knew KD was going to come back and pretty much be the same player.
That's crazy. He sure was.
And he's better, which is
crazy.
Like I feel like KD's better, yes.
Mind
there's more confidence.
Yeah,
exactly.
Mind is going to continue to move. To continue
so
grow.
I think Clay could be and should be. He's had 2 injuries, though. So is that going to affect him mentally?
Yeah.
But mentally, you know how it is as a shooter, man. You make 8 of those shots in the first half of a game, you're like, I'm back.
It was his ACL and then his Achilles?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, two career-ending injuries back in the day that he had,
in successive years.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I think if he comes back being Clay, then that is Golden State's back, and it's going to be dangerous. But I definitely put Lakers up there, number 1.
Phoenix still there? We'll see.
I'm not super high on Phoenix because I think they benefited off of a year where they could have easily been out in the first round if Anthony Davis didn't get hurt. And you wouldn't have even been talking about Phoenix like this. Every team they played up to get into the finals, they had a first
injury.
or second year or second star hurt.
Yeah.
And so that to me didn't give a clear picture of who Phoenix was. And now everyone knows, like, you went to the finals, we're going to be on your head. So it's going to be a lot harder for them to be there. But at the same time, you got Chris Paul. Devin Booker is amazing.
Yeah.
So they're still going to be in the mix for sure.
Utah continuing to take a step because, they were the number 1 seed last year.
They were, but Utah seems to be the Ben Simmons of teams where you just know who they are. And I'm not sure if they're going up or down. Like, this is who they are.
Wow.
This is what you're going to see out of them. This is what you get. Do they move up anywhere? They have a really good team. They have, 2 of the best 6 men in the league.
Yeah.
We'll see, but I don't know. They haven't seemed to move much for me the last few years.
I think they're still probably, coming off of the confidence of a full season of domination because they dominated from pretty much January on. I think that they're still probably a top three in the West. Especially with Denver probably taking a step back with let's see who else. The Rockets are gone now.
I want to see in Dallas, I want to see Porzingis be who we thought he should be.
The unicorn.
And if he really loves basketball and wants to play and wants to be a winning player, I need to see him start off the beginning of the season playing tough and just
fire.
Because the skill set he has
is undeniable.
Him and Luka should, when they made that trade, we're like, yo, this is gonna be a problem for years.
Yeah.
And him and Luka should be a problem for years. And I hope they are a problem for years. I want to see them succeed, and I don't want to see Luka stuck in Dallas with no other superstars.
Yeah, because once he goes, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
But the one thing I can say though, kind of to juxtapose that, is that even if he goes, we know that Mark Cuban pays.
Yeah, definitely.
And Mark Cuban spends money. So he will find someone else. You know what I mean? So like that, at least, I don't think Luka will be in a situation where he's completely stuck and shut out. So
yeah, and teams that, I think San Antonio's still rebuilding. I think, total rebuild now, losing DeMar DeRozan is gone now. So I think that's, going to be a struggle for them. So they're not even a playoff team. Portland, same thing. They are who they are. They didn't make any moves.
Kind of who
this
they are.
is the year I think Dame asked for a trade.
Where though? That's the whole thing, man. It's the where of it.
If he really wanted to be out right now, which I don't think he does, I think he would have pushed for a trade because there's a team that I think he'd be great on that would have a chance to win a championship if he was traded there.
Knicks?
No.
Who?
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And that would be a trade that Portland would have to be like, okay, if we have to trade him, we at least have to get back all-star player.
Yeah, Ben Simmons.
And you get Ben Simmons and a draft pick and some other
picks.
That would be a smart move. I don't know what that would look like in Portland, but at least you have the name that you can try to build around.
Yeah, it resets your team.
Putting Dame with Embiid, I would love to see that.
Yeah.
But because Dame right now in Portland, they're just not moving. So do you have to move McCollum and bring in another? Or listen, wait, stop the presses, folks. Do you move McCollum and bring in Ben Simmons? Like, Portland's not going to get a superstar for Ben Simmons right now.
Okay.
Do you just offer, look, we'll give you CJ McCollum, maybe another, one of our broke down centers, and a draft pick for Ben Simmons?
Yeah, but for Portland, I don't think that makes sense because
he's not a shooter.
Well, he's not a shooter, and then so now the floor has shrunk, and then on top of that, CJ isn't necessarily an on-ball person. He's more off-ball. He can run your team, but it's not really his role. So to bring Ben Simmons there, and now you're dealing with two people that need the ball, like need the ball. It starts to I could see it working the other way around, like you said with Dame, because now I can still get CJ McCollum the ball now. Now CJ gets more shots.
Yeah.
And he has more pin downs and more actions that are for him, and Ben Simmons is going to find
But what can Dame look like with a 6'10" dude that can bring the ball down? And now Dame, you don't have to do as much. I'm getting to the hole. I can kick it out to you. Now you're free to just
attack,
bam.
shoot. Yeah.
I could throw it to you at half court because you're 50% from half court.
But when they triple team me and I can't give you the ball and say shoot,
or when I'm about to dunk for the game-winning shot and I decide to pass it to somebody.
Nobody in particular.
But Portland's an interesting team because I thought they were making a move either to downgrade and get rid of Dame or to do something to try to upgrade. And all they did is like, bye, Carmelo.
Which wasn't a smart move because Carmelo had played well there.
He's playing well with them, but he didn't want to be there.
So to close this out, what teams in the NBA do you feel this year are going to take a step?
So, who's going to move up in the world? Maybe, get to the playoffs and make some noise. Kind of the Knicks of last year, right?
Yeah.
The Knicks and the Hawks of last year.
The Knicks and Hawks of last year.
definitely in the East. This is going to be my league pass team in the East for sure. The Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
Zach LaVine with some other players.
Well, who else?
I'm talking about Zach just even having other players. That's going to be a fun team to watch at least, right? So that's going to be a team everyone's going to want to watch and see what they can do. And I think that's going to be the team in the East that's really going to step up and be the Knicks of this year. Him, Lonzo, DeMar DeRozan. Who else is? I mean, it's
a functional team.
Vujovic. Vucevic. I mean, whatever his name is.
They got rid of Markkanen though, which is still sad to me.
Yeah,
but they drafted a
I don't think, and if Mark wants to call in now, call in and tell us about that. But I don't think Bulls fans were high on Lauri Markkanen.
I liked him.
I liked him, but I don't think from all most of the Bull fans I talked to if they were high on him.
Yeah.
But I think they have a really good team, and trust me, I'm going to want to watch all those games because
they have excitement.
If they win or not, it's going to be an exciting, exciting every game. So I mean, there's going to be a lot going on in Chicago this year, and I will give them a 5 or 6 seed in the East.
I think the Bulls can win 50 games.
Yeah,
they have. It comes down to health because obviously Lonzo gets hurt, so it does come down to his health. I don't know what their backup point guard
somebody there needs to be like, Lonzo, just play hurt a little bit. It's okay. We all do it. Mark, we got you back on the line to talk about the Bulls.
Bulls. No, I think you hit everything on. You talked about an exciting team with the Bulls. I mean, I was super stoked that they, got Lonzo, but then to go get, DeMar, even getting Alex Caruso. I thought that was a huge
Caruso too.
Yeah. Okay. I forgot about Caruso going there.
Yeah. So, but the key thing is the last thing is that I heard you talk about, Quan, was the fact that talk about an injury. That's what's been plaguing the organization for the last 4 or 5 years, whether it be the whole Lauri Markkanen, Wendell Carter Jr., so on and so forth.
Valentine that had to go.
Oh,
yeah, Valentine. Yeah, come on, man. He had a good summer league.
20 seconds left. Let's pull from half court. Not that shot, young fella.
Denzel Valentine got done. Listen, Denzel Valentine got done in the Drew League by a guy who's working at Radio Shack.
Done. And Radio Shack is done.
And Radio Shack's an online store.
Exactly.
They don't even have any brick and mortar Radio Shacks anymore.
But in all seriousness, no. The key thing is with them is going to be health. They're already dealing a little bit behind the 8 ball in that regard. But the thing about it is the depth that Arturas Karnisovas and Mark Eversley has brought this offseason. Kobe White's going to be out for probably till December. He had a labrum tear in his non-shooting shoulder.
Okay, that's my man. Kobe played with that for 2 years in the shooting arm.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, but this is Kobe White, not the
this is Kobe with
White.
L.
Yeah, but and low key, Kobe White actually cut the locks. Like he cut the braids. He's rocking up.
Okay, Samson.
Yeah,
careful.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
When you cut what you're known for.
I'm just saying. You better let them know, Quan. But then. And then Patrick Williams, who I think is the key to all of this, I think because, again, people forget he was the second youngest guy coming into the league last year. And when he played in the summer league, he dominated at times. But he's going to be playing not the 3, he's going to be moving to the 4. He just had a high ankle injury. He might not be coming back until right before the season starts or maybe 2 weeks into the season. So already that chemistry that they need to build is going to be a little bit slowed down because of the fact that they have injuries. So, yeah. But I trust Billy Donovan. I mean, you got to remember when Billy Donovan was at the Thunder, he had a lot of he took a very that Chris Paul team that got Chris Paul to the Suns. It was because Chris Paul led a young team, got them to the playoffs. Yeah. And a lot of that has to get a lot of that credit as far as doing the 3-guard lineup and everything was because of Billy Donovan. So you give Billy Donovan some horses to run with. You still got Boots. You got you really got 3 All-Stars. It's just about how can these guys, who's going to take the back seat?
Yeah.
that's going to be the interesting. That's going to be the interesting question. Who's going to be the one to say, "All right, I don't have to get mine tonight. I'm going to be the lockdown defender."
I think DeMar.
I think that's DeRozan.
I think DeMar
his age,
because of his age, his injury
around.
history. Now he's happy to be. I feel like he's happy to be out of San Antonio. He's happy to be out of the West. I feel like he's now a veteran leader. He doesn't have to be the guy. He's made his money. You know what I mean? Like
he'll have nights where he can be the guy.
Yeah. He's gonna have nights where
absolutely.
he's hot and he's dunking on people, and he's gonna have nights where he gets 12 points.
Yeah,
and that's okay.
Right. If Zach LaVine, who's taken a step across every year, he's bumped up his average. He's a what we call a walking bucket. He can just roll out the bed. He can get 30 at any point in time. If he can actually take a little bit of a step back, but other people increase, I think that the team is going to be that much better for it. If that makes sense, if you feel me on that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting, but I do think DeMar is going to be the guy to kind of step back. I totally agree with you guys. And again, when you have someone like Alex Caruso coming off the bench with a Kobe White, it's going. I mean, the team is a really legit deep 8-9 spots deep, and that's just going to help that team, is particularly in the East. So those games that they lost over the last 2-3 years.
You got the Las Vegas boy Troy Brown Jr. there too.
That's right.
Absolutely. I was counting him in that 8 or 9. Like, I think Troy Brown Jr. he was really starting to ascend a little bit coming off the bench till he got hurt toward the end of the year. And that Bulls team, when they made, they caught a lot of flack. They push all the chips in. They got Vucevic right, and then they don't make the playoffs. But people don't take in the fact that, well, as soon as Vuce got there, a couple people got hurt. Jack was on the COVID list for like 2 weeks. So that was that, and they went to like the hard part of their schedule. So
and you can't be mad at that, because that was a trade for the future too. There was just a trade to get to the playoffs, and I know a lot of people did get upset about that. Like, we made this trade and didn't even get to the playoffs. But it's like, guess what? You still have Vucevic this year now, and now you weren't doing anything in the playoffs anyways if you got there. You know what I'm saying? So now you have a chance to be a team that can start getting ready to compete.
Absolutely. And not to mention, here's the thing about it is, because of that trade, that let the league know that got the eyes of Lonzo Ball. That got the eyes of Alex Caruso. It got the eyes of DeMar DeRozan. But here's the thing, too. This is also a big, big indication of how bad the previous management was. They took all those cats that they drafted and overcoddled and never really developed, and they shipped them out everywhere. In a year, the only person that's still left on that team is Zach LaVine and Kobe White. Like, Patrick Williams, who got drafted last year, is the third longest tenured player on the roster.
That's crazy.
So,
but listen, man, that's the way to do it. If you see these franchises all the time in sports where the team's just not doing anything, and you keep doing the same things in management to not change, and so they came in and cleaned house. So I think it's smart. And like I said, man, they're going to be exciting to watch, and I'm looking forward to watching them.
Absolutely. We'll get the text chain going again, and we'll be comparing notes about what we're seeing about the Bulls, because it's going to be interesting to see how they go down. But there's going to be a lot of games this season where they're going to put up 130 points, but they're probably going to give up 125. So it's going to be But hey, at the end of the day, if they win, it's all for the good.
But that's most of the NBA now. You have to try to outscore the other team. You're not doing much on defense.
I don't
these
even want
days.
to talk about that. That's a whole nother.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
A whole nother topic for a whole nother day. It's you go, we go. You go, we go. It's not who can play defense. It's who's missing shots. Because they just do not lock down. They do not play D. It's just we hit our shots. You didn't hit yours. But no one really got stops. It's anyway.
Hey, Josh, when we grew up, two-way players, you had to be a two-way player just to play. Now two-way players are a commodity.
Yes. Yeah. He's a two-way player. Like, what? He's supposed to be. No. He,
the NBA is a two-way game.
Like, come on, bro.
But, dude, thanks for the call, man, and definitely good luck with your Bulls this year, man. I'll definitely be watching.
We will definitely talk about them as we go on.
For sure.
All right, bro.
All right. Last up, who do we see taking a step in the West? I think it's truthfully between three teams. It's between the Pelicans, SAC, and Memphis.
I'm definitely not sold on the Pelicans right now. I'm just not sure where they're at as a team. Losing Lonzo Ball, another new coach.
Yeah.
So Zion's third coach.
Yeah.
In 3 years.
Yeah.
That's that's not good for a young player like that.
Not great.
And I think that's just stupid on the team because
you're gonna lose him.
Why bring in Stan Van Gundy though last year? So if you want to get rid of Alvin Gentry to bring in a different coach for Zion, that wasn't the one.
Yeah.
He's not a young player coach.
Well, and
he's a coach if you have a veteran team.
Yeah.
Cool. Because he's going to yell at you and you don't have to listen if you don't want to. People are starting to talk bad about David Griffin.
Yeah,
like he's
a
dictator and
I did see that.
Whatever he says goes, which I don't know if that's true. That might just be those people saying that.
Yeah.
Because everything we heard of him in Cleveland was, he was great.
We love Griff.
But he might have just been LeBron's mouthpiece anyways. LeBron tells him what to do and he does it. Now he's here. Now I have the power.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a different story.
And extra power because of what happened in Cleveland.
Yeah.
So, something to be said about that.
I drafted Zion and made the Anthony Davis trade and got a lot of assets for that. And so, you get your ego up a little bit. But
sure.
New Orleans, I don't know what they're going to be yet, so I can't give them the step up until they actually step up.
Yeah.
And I hope they do. But, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And what does Zion do? Does he even want to be there? Because
that's what
I don't
I'm
think
saying.
he does.
I think after this year, if they don't take a step, that's it. You either have
if they can't get into the playoffs this year, you might want to hurry up and trade him real quick because he's not going to want to stay there.
Yeah,
and now you're gonna have a thing in New Orleans like just happened with Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Now it's like just like that is going to happen again.
Right back to
with a young guy.
Yeah.
So, what other teams could step up?
I feel like Memphis possibly could take a step. I feel like
Memphis can.
They still, as Ja continues to get better, I feel like they still can get higher up. I feel like,
I think that's the only team because I think we're only going to see teams in the West. Here's how strong the West is. You're going to see teams step back and the teams that go up, not stepping up, but the teams that move up are teams that were kind of hurt last year. They've been great. Golden State, Portland could go up a little bit higher. The only teams I think have a chance to step up, I want to see Minnesota finally step up. They got rid of their GM that was, getting into some trouble.
Sure.
I want to see that. I like Cat a lot. I like D'Angelo Russell. I like the dude who should have been Rookie of the Year last year, by the way.
That's right. They gave it
Edwards.
to Edwards. They have a really good team. I forgot about Edwards.
Listen, he's balling. He's gonna be.
Okay.
He was the best rookie last year. They gave it to Baby Ball.
Yeah.
Because of his name, I think.
Yeah.
If you look at the numbers and look at games played, Anthony Edwards was a better player. I think he has a chance to be a superstar in this league. I really believe. So I want to see Minnesota finally take that step.
I don't think it's a step though. They would be stepping back in the proper direction. You know what I mean? Because in terms of, because if you think about it, Minnesota was supposed to take a step 4 years ago with Andrew Wiggins and Cat and those guys. So they took a step back. So it wouldn't necessarily be taking a step.
I think them getting into the playoffs and doing something they have to because Cat's supposed to be a superstar. He has superstar talent, superstar skills,
but he's
superstar
not.
stats.
Yeah,
and he's not only because the team isn't. And I think if they could really step up, and I hope they do. Like I said, I like them. I like their squad. I like their players. So I want to see them step up, and I think they could be that team that starts surprising some people.
Yeah. All right.
Edwards is dope.
Yeah, no, he is. He actually trained out of the same gym that my team practices out of.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been in town a couple times.
Yeah.
So he's a pretty good guy. He's a good guy. So I'm cheering for him.
Yeah. And Ja Morant in Memphis,
we'll see.
They got a lot of confidence last year. Let's just say that.
Sure.
They got a lot of confidence.
As
so
they should.
Yeah. All right. Is that it?
That's it, brother.
Run down the baseball stats real quick. What we got in the
baseball?
I know Goose was saying his Braves are up 3-0, and they could.
Is today the start of the playoffs for baseball?
No.
Not yet, right? No, because the Cubs.
Cubs
are still playing.
I was saying it's the playoffs because all these series are really tight now.
Yeah. No, we still have another. Okay, so the playoffs are gonna start. Looks like Tuesday. As far as the standings go, the wild card, the Yankees are they still have a game over the Red Sox. The Red Sox are. So the Yankees and the Red Sox are the 2 wild card teams. That's pretty interesting. The AL
and
East
the Braves are up 4-0 right now against the Phillies, and if they win, they clinch the division.
Okay. In the National League, the your Dodgers are the wild card team, but they have a 13.5 game advantage over the St. Louis Cards. The Cards are the other wild card team. So.
And they're 2 games behind right now against the Giants.
Yeah. So Seattle is only a half game back of Boston. So, and then Toronto's also only a game back. So, on the AL side, there's plenty of intrigue in that wild card spot.
Yeah.
All those teams could still shift in the next week.
And Baltimore's only 47 games back, folks. So
they're 30 games out of the wild card.
Yeah, 30 games out of wild card.
So you're saying
47 games behind Tampa Bay for the division. What a horrible team.
Ugh. Man. All right. That's been the baseball minute.
Yeah, that's baseball. So listen, folks.
My Cubs are trash right now. I don't want to talk about baseball.
Baseball playoffs are coming, so it's definitely interesting to watch what's going on right now.
Quan, you didn't say that my Canes got a touchdown.
They got a touchdown.
Thanks, Quan.
And Virginia just got a first down. So, and White Sox are doing really well, Mark. So your Chicago teams, a couple of them looking good, some of them not looking so good.
Yeah, Mark, I don't want to talk about the White Sox.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about that.
He's a White Sox, not Cubs. Sorry. I know you kind of were liking him, and now you're kind of.
I don't hate the White Sox. I have no hate for the White Sox.
Really? I thought you either loved the Cubs and hating the White Sox, or
no. That's even in Chicago. That's not like there's not so much hate. It's not hate.
Okay.
It's just a crosstown rivalry. It's not like New York Yankees Mets. Like, oh, you're a Mets fan. Like, it's not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm tired.
All right. Jackie wants to eat. She wants to go to sleep. She wants to take a nap.
I've got to go pick up
she's
food.
Saying peace.
So,
what are you picking up?
Just pizza for the children.
Children?
Yeah.
All right. Oh.